In this video, we are going to talk about active jobs in Ruby on Rails. Active job is a framework we use to declare jobs that are run as background processes. Since there are a variety of different queuing backend implementations, active job provides a common interface where code can be written once, rather than multiple times, for each implementation of the queuing backends. Queuing is commonly used for communication with external web services, like MailChimp or Mandrill, and for any other sort of background processes, like resizing an uploaded image. It also ensures that if we want to send an email and our mail service is down, it will queue up that job and execute it at the next available time. We also want to use background processing since our web server should primarily use its resources to responding to requests rather than doing processing itself. There are many different types of queue adapters. For example, we will use Sidekick in our coding, which is a pretty popular one. For all the other different compatible versions, please check out the documentation online for active job. Let's create our first active job. First, we'll use a generator and create an active job called messaging. We can quickly test to see if this job now exists inside our app by getting into our console and checking on the object itself. Now, what does the messaging job do? It's got a perform function, so we need to specify the arguments and the function that it needs to handle here. In the case of our example right now, we have a user object who has many messages, and the job is going to send those messages to that user. So okay, so let's take a look. First of all, we need to check if there are any users in our database. So we're going to create a user called Cody. Now if we take a look at Cody, currently he's got no messages. To call the message, we simply clear the job, perform later function, and pass in the arguments we wanted. And if you take a look here, it's actually being on-queued onto the default queue. So let's quickly take a look at our database. If we take a look, the messages haven't been created because the message is actually still sitting on the queue. Another thing we can do is we can also set a wait time. So, for example, we might want to send this message to Cody 1 week later instead of now. And then we just pass in the perform later function as we did before with the same arguments that we needed. Oh, let's take a look at what happened. So the standard active job queue that comes with Rails is the inline queue, and it doesn't have the capability to handle any sort of like delayed messages. So in order to deal with that, we're actually going to pick the Sidekick backend. So let's set that up. Pretty basic. What we do is we make sure we include Sidekick. And the other thing is to configure Sidekick as our queue adapter. Note I'm doing it inside here for the application.rb, but it's also possible for you to set different queue adapters based on your environment. So you could do this under your development or your production.rb file as well. Okay, Let's check. Oops. Spelled Sidekick wrong here. And let's bundle install that. It's taking a while. There we go. And now when we do the same thing, we should no longer get that error. We're just going to use user.first since we reset our console and it has no concept that the Cody variable has been set. So for me to use Sidekick, I need to have Redis installed. And for different queuing backends, that could differ. So let's just try that again. There we go. We have actually unqueued the job. It's been scheduled for a certain date. And that would be our delayed job. So there you have it. That job has been unqueued with Sidekick. And that is all for today. Thanks.